13 ruling bloodlines, they are the ones that are trying to suppress us. They're the ones that are trying to prevent the spiritual awakening from happening. But it's unstoppable because many of us are waking up. And also, we have this thing called the Galactic Federation that is assisting us. They're assisting planet Earth because, planet Earth actually happens to be the most important planet in the whole universe. And I don't want to sound like, we're, how can I say it, in an egotistical way for the Earth, but I want to say in a sense where the Earth is like considered a living library. And what that means is that the Earth contains all the seeding, flora, all the DNAs from across the entire universe all in one spot. So it's like a living library. So it's very well protected by the Galactic Federation. Yeah.
Yeah, and it makes sense because it's like, it's, I look at it like it's like a big experiment or something. Like they're sitting there and they're like, let's see what they're gonna do with this, and then they're like, oh my god, like they figured it out, good job. Or they'd be like, I messed this one up, like we gotta go back to square one.
True, that's exactly what's happening. We're on these huge mothership cameras that they're watching, and they're watching everything, like anything that, especially things like political leaders. They're always watching those more so than everyone else because of the fact that those are the decisions that affect humanity. So everyone's being monitored. And and one of the things that I revealed in my book is that, this war that's been going on here between the cabal and the white hats is actually a small reflection of a greater war that's been going on in our galaxy between the Galactic Federation and the reptilians. Yeah, so the reptilians have been trying to conquer our Milky Way for millions of years, but they have recently lost the war. Go ahead.
Okay, so just out of curiosity, who would you consider being like a reptilian? Like celebrity or people in the public eye,
like Lady Gaga, people like that, I want to say Beyonce. She has a lot of that blood in her. Madonna. A lot of people in Hollywood, like the mainstream celebrities, a lot of them they carry a high concentration of reptilian blood. And then of course, like the Queen of England and the Rockefellers and the elite families. They're considered reptilian because they're human reptilian hybrids. That's why
England makes sense because she seems like she's evil,
and then also
sorry, Queen. I hope she doesn't hear this.
Well, even if it does, right now I think only her clone is existing. They took out the real queen because as I speak right now, the Galactic Federation and the White Hats, which created a coalition called the Earth Alliance, they've been kind of sweeping, cleaning house here in our world. They've been cleaning down the structure of the cabal.
What is the cabal?
Elites. The cabal are the powerful families that have been ruling the world for centuries, actually for thousands of years. There's the banking dynasty, the aristocracy of the European hierarchy, and then of course the Vatican. The Vatican is at the core of the cabal. So for the Vatican, it's about resurrecting the Roman Empire, right? Because that's what they've been trying to do in the last 1700 years. And for the cabal families, like they call them the Illuminati, for them is about creating a one world government in which everyone becomes a slave to them, to their system. Whether you won't own anything, you won't have nothing, and you will be happy. That's what they call this. Well, that's what the type of system they want to implement. It's a system where nobody has anything, and yet everybody's just forced to live under a one world government. But that's not going to happen because of the fact that the Earth Alliance has been kicking their butt in the last 6 years. And from what I understand,
I moved to the U.S., so it's capitalistic, so I can work and make money and own my own stuff. Like that's why I moved to the U.S. They can't do that here. We need to own houses.
Believe it or not, Well, the U.S. was actually originally was a product of the good guys, of the White Hats, like the founding fathers. They were part of the White Hats back then, 260 years ago. But eventually, the Dark Hats, the cabal families, the Illuminatis, whatever you want to call them, they infiltrated our country, and ever since they've been kind of in indirect control of our country. But as of 2016, you know, our country was actually the white hats were able to throw a monkey wrench into the cabal's plans, or what they call the deep state. So in our country, they're called the deep state. In terms of the whole world, they're called the NWO, or the globalist. Yeah, because their agenda is to unite the world under a one world digital economy and a one world government. And then, you know, that explains, you know, COVID and the, you know, you know what I mean, the medicines stuff. They want to make sure everybody is tied in or gets locked into this one world government.
Oh my God. So that's like a really bad thing, right? Because you don't want to do that, right?
Like, of course not. No, who wants to be a slave? You know?
Yeah, like that's what I'm saying. Like that's really bad, you know? So how do we so do we not do anything because it's already taken care of, or do we have to do something, or?
Well, yes, we're receiving help from the Galactic Federation. You know, they're here assisting us from behind the scenes with the White Hats. The White Hats have their own military, you know, reversed. Because the White Hats they're going to be coming forward any day now. And they're going to be revealing the truth to the world about these crimes against humanity that have been done by the cabal or by the deep state, whatever you want to call it. Yeah.
And it's crazy because there's a lot of stuff that's coming out with, like, you know, the corruption and, like, you know, the media, and there's just like so many layers to this stuff, and like in the government, the media, the politicians, like there's so many different aspects of it. Even me, like, I'm changing the laws, right, against hack-leak crimes, and I'm getting progress with that, and I'm like, okay, good, this is good. I'm like, it's going forward, and little by little it's chipping away, right? But then it's like, you look at, like, for instance, like women's rights and stuff, you're working on something here, then you start seeing like, well, no, this area is falling apart now. So now you're like, well, how are they going to focus on this? But now we're going backwards with a lot of things, right? So there's a lot of like things like that. And I noticed like there's so much imbalance between men and women right now. So I don't understand like why there's so much imbalance. There's like, it's a lot of like injustice towards women, and then what's going on, the men are hating women are hating men. It's just like, what is happening, you know? So what do you think is going on?
That's part of the cabal's and deep state's agenda, is to create division amongst humanity. They want to, you know, convert men into, you know, females. They want to they want to make women more masculine, when in essence, you know, men and women they're supposed to be coming together in harmony. And so what they're doing is it's part of their tactics of divide and conquer. So that's part of their agenda, is to keep us in unbalance, to keep us hating each other. Because the more of us come together in harmony and unite, that's when they lose their power. So that's their biggest weapon, is us uniting, us bringing forth information that will empower humanity. And so the fight is taking place on two fronts. You know, we have the Galactic Federation that's assisting us. We have the White Hats that are assisting us. And then we, like people like me and you, who are out there trying to uplift people by giving them information, knowledge is power, and all that stuff. You know, all that stuff is working towards our benefit to defeat the suppressors or the oppressors. Because in the end, according to the prophecies, we win this war against the oppressors, and humanity becomes liberated. And a whole new world, you know, is born as a result of that, which is a world that could be considered a new heaven on earth, you know, a beautiful heaven on earth.
And like, as far as like people that are like, oh, this is a conspiracy theory and all of that kind of stuff, like what do you have to say, like, not in defense, but to like kind of explain like why this is not a conspiracy theory kind of thing?
Well, the term conspiracy theory was coined by the CIA in the 1950s to silence the people that were critical thinkers, that were actually seeing things for what they really were. So that was a term that was given to those people, like the crazy people, right? But as the years continue, as people became more awakened of things, like when 9/11 happened and people started putting, you know, two and two together and found out that it was an inside job, that's when people little by little became aware that they were being controlled mentally and that they were being oppressed by the elites. So little by little, the word conspiracy theory became more of a conspiracy fact. And then more and more, the more people started waking up, the more it built momentum into the awakening. And
Mm-hmm.
then, since 2016, this awakening of humanity's freedom has been like snowballing since 2016.
Wow. So basically, like that's like another way of like basically making people sound like, oh yeah, they're crazy, they don't know what they're talking about, but it's another form of like control, basically.
Yes, exactly. They don't want people to break away from the matrix.
Yeah. And like, what? Why would they like do this? Is it because they don't want us to have the power of knowing like how to heal yourself and all that kind of stuff, or?
Because they're afraid of us.
Mhm.
Because they know that once we tap into our dormant DNA, and once we begin to meditate and go within, then we become liberated. We become mentally liberated and also spiritually and physically liberated. Once we free our minds by changing our perception of things, then they don't have power over us anymore. So they're afraid that if enough people do that, their entire control structure is going to disintegrate and they will no longer be ruling our world. The power would eventually come back to everyone. And then we could
Yes.
take and determine what kind of government we want, which is a government that is, you know, less centralized and more for the people and by the people, which is more of a commonwealth. And
Yeah.
that's the ideal government. That's the meaning of having a constitutional republic. It's a commonwealth where it's not just owned by private interest groups or personal banking systems or elites. It's actually a world that is owned by all the people and for the people.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where we're heading. That's where we're heading with this great awakening. Because a huge shift is coming. A huge shift. And this shift is going to come really fast and really soon. It's already hitting there as more and more of us wake up. And that shift is going to totally bring our world into a better era, a new age that is going to be, marked by harmony, brotherhood, sisterhood, and oneness.
Got
And
it.
the only people that are going to be eliminated are the wicked.
So the reptilians are gonna be like they're gonna leave, or like they're all gonna die. What's gonna happen with them?
Well, the reptilians have already been handled with. Since 2016, they've already lost the war in space. The Galactic Federation already liberated the whole galaxy. And so they've already escorted a lot of reptilians out of our solar system since 2016. And there's only been like maybe a few reptilians that like went into the underground bases and cities that they built. And then they're still hiding there, but they know that their time is coming. And they're actually hiding from the Galactic Federation because they're for those reptilians that were arrested in 2016 are now facing galactic tribunals, galactic courts. So they're all being, facing their crimes against the galaxy and of course against humanity.
So with that being said, like if they're facing all these, they've been handled with or whatever, why are they still around here?
Oh,
Like,
they're not anymore. The only people that are left behind that are still around are just their human family representatives, like the elites, the deep state. But even they are, as I speak right now, they're also being they're being stripped from their power, and they're about to get arrested, and that will be announced worldwide. There's this thing called the EBS, the Emergency Broadcast System, that is going to be initiated by the White Hats when they have all the evidence that they need to bring down the cabal and the deep state and the elites worldwide. So that means that Canada is going to be liberated, Australia is going to be liberated, countries that are under the yoke of the UN, because the UN is their vehicle. It's the elite's vehicle to bring about the one world government. By the way, the Vatican is going to be exposed for the evil that they are. So all that stuff is going to come out very soon.
And what about like social media companies and all of that stuff?
Those are going to be taken over by the White Hats as well. Yeah, because social media has also been run.
Better algorithms,
algorithm and more freedom to speak freely about the things that we want to speak about. Because under the control of the deep state and the big tech companies, social media is very restricted. Even like on YouTube, you can't really talk about anti. You know what I mean? If you talk against the mandates,
you're allowed to be funny or smart or sexy or like I can't be myself at all. I can't be anything. Like I just literally post like a robot, and then like everything is like, don't put this in the caption and don't say that, and everything is like working like a robot. Like and that's the only way I can post now. I'm not even allowed to be like, "Hey guys," like and all crazy and you know doing crazy videos or anything. I'm not allowed to do anything.
Well, they want to make you a robot. They want to make all of us robots.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a part of their transhumanist agenda. I don't know. Have you ever heard of the transhumanist agenda?
No, what's that?
The transhumanist agenda is part of the one world government structure. Is that they want to convert humans into machines by integrating us with technology, like putting some sort of neuralace in order for us to connect with the internet without touching the computer, just through our minds. That would be the beginning of that. And of course, Elon Musk is working on that, so that's not good. But the whole purpose of this is to connect everyone to the Borg. The Borg is what would be running the one world government if the elites were allowed to implement the one world government, which is not going to happen anymore.
So the elites, are they like billionaires, or is it like?
Oh, they're beyond billionaires. Some of them are trillionaires. They've been hoarding 99% of the world's wealth for hundreds of years.
But what are they doing with it? Like buying books or like Starbucks? Like what are they getting with all this money?
Well, a lot of that money goes to finance their black operations. A lot of secret shadow government projects that they're working with. Like a lot of it has to do with reverse engineering alien technology. A lot of it has to do with building out secret space programs, which is what I talked about in one of my videos.
Yeah.
And so that's what they've been doing since the 50s. The elites have been actually exploring space. The technology that they were able to inherit by the extraterrestrials that they've been working with is about 900 years ahead of the general public. Yeah, so the elites already have access to other worlds. They already have time travel technology. They already have, spaceships. They already have replicators, like all these technologies that we see in like Star Trek, Star Wars, and sci-fi movies. The elites have had since the 1950s, but they keep these technologies within the private sector, meaning like they don't give it to the general. Yeah.
Imagine if I could.
So they have for everything.
I could be in Italy right now, like eating a pizza or something,
Exactly. It's a little device that they use where they're able to plug in the coordinates. They open up the portal, and then boom, they go through the portal, and then they come out of the portal, depending on where they plugged in the coordinates. What it does is it converts your body to pure energy, and then it's dematerializes it into pure energy. And then when you reach your destination, it rematerializes it again.
Wow. So they basically have all this technology, and like I don't know if you know, but like I read up on Jeff Bezos, for instance, and he's like planning on going out to space or building all this stuff over there, and or like to get over there, and like what do you think is his fascination with space? Is it because he's a starseed, or is he a reptilian, or like why do you think him and like Elon Musk want to go to space so bad?
Because of the fact that the shadow government has already built interplanetary infrastructure. We already have colonies and bases on Mars and the moon and all throughout the moons of the jovial planets like Jupiter and Saturn. We have moons all around them. I mean, not moons, stations. And so these guys, what they want to do is, okay, so this is what's going on. There are benevolent groups that are associated with the secret space program that have been fighting the war against the Illuminati in space. And those are called the Earth Alliance. And the Earth Alliance are the ones that are giving the technology slowly but surely to humanity through people like Bezos and people like Elon Musk, so that we could eventually begin colonizing and terraforming other planets. So that's a good thing. But the fact that Elon Musk is working with Neuralink to create a neuralace that's going to connect us to the computer so that we can become like cyborgs, I question that because that's not good. But at the same time, I understand that through the Space Force, which is the 5th branch of our military that was established by Donald Trump, who is a white hat, by the way. He's one of the good guys, as well as Putin. They're trying to bring this advanced technology to the public. Once the white hats expose the cabal and their crimes against humanity, they're going to bring forth all these advanced technologies, and that includes like med beds, which are healing modalities that cure every illness. So there's not going to be any more illnesses, no more. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
So okay, hold up just a second. So basically, they want to create a spaceship to go out in space, and then it's gonna like heal like everything in the body.
Oh no, no, it's a med bed is a type of chamber that they could bring to us, and so they like say these chambers anybody could use, where you go into the chamber, and if you have cancer, within hours it'll be gone. It through frequency. Yeah, it heals you through frequency. There's other healing modalities that are called holographic regenerators that could grow any limb. And then, of course, through the field of natural homeopathic medicine, there's cures for everything within plants. So all these cures they've been using within the secret space program.
But they basically go out there and get this from there and bring it back, or like how are they getting into all this?
Well, the good guys got it from the Galactic Federation. The good guys,
they already have it. The Whiteheads, right?
The Whiteheads have it already. They're called Solar Warden, and they're the protectors of our solar system. That's why they're called Solar Warden, like the police of our solar system. So they've been kind of preventing these evil aliens from openly conquering us since the 1950s. Because since the 1950s, there's been different alien groups that have been trying to conquer us openly from the sky. But again, the technology was given to us by the Pleiadians, by the Federation, in order for us through the U.S. naval create a space fleet that would allow us to protect ourselves against these evil aliens, and that became known as Solar Warden. So,
got it. And then you said that Donald Trump and Putin is like the good guys. They're Whiteheads.
Yeah, they're working with the Earth Alliance. Yeah, and
how do you know this? Like, how do you know all this?
I've been researching and studying a lot of highly classified information.
Oh, really? Yeah, okay, cool. So there's like a lot of stuff. So basically, those are the good guys, but the media and the world is making them look like bad guys, and then the bad guys are looking like the good guys.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's actually the other way around. Whatever the media tells you, it's the other way around, because the media works for the deep state. It's an instrument for the deep state.
Well, that makes sense because, like for instance, in my scenario, I was one of the victims of the iCloud hack leak, right? And all these like pictures and this video came out of me and made me look like I'm doing porn and nudity and all this other stuff, and it's not even me at all, and I was just like in a relationship with someone, but the whole media, like everybody was in on it. They auctioned me off on Google. All the sites were picking it up. Like literally everybody profited from me and trafficked me and made it seem like I was the bad guy at the same time. Like I was asking for it or something, And then obviously everybody else teamed up and ganged up on it and said, oh yeah, she wanted this, and look at her, she's doing this, she's doing that. So then again, it made me look like the bad guy, right? To like people in social media, like headquarters, like Instagram headquarters, and all of these people that work there. And that was my first dose of like being in the public eye. Like, wow, like you literally didn't do anything wrong, and you're portrayed as someone that's like a villain, And I was just so amazed by that, because I'm like, even if you're a victim, they're still making you sound like a villain. And then the hacker got praised, like he was like some kind of hero, like releasing all these images of like all these celebrity women, and they're all like hardworking women, like Jennifer Lawrence was on that list, Kate Upton, all the women that don't want to go that route, they got to, protecting and all that kind of stuff. But then you're like, where's all the men, you know? And there's men obviously that are great, they're like working on the same wavelength and stuff. But then there's so many other men that are like, they don't even, they don't know, they don't care, maybe, I don't know, like it's just like weird to me, like why aren't more people involved in just helping all of the causes? It's like there's like racism, you know, people are working for that, and there's like homosexuals or whatever, like they're working for that, or other like causes. But not everyone is working for everything except for women. Like women are working for all of the other causes, but when it comes to women and children, it's like, you know. So I feel like there needs to be more men involved in that, because it's like that's the future, right? Like how, you know, children, we gotta protect them, and women, yes, that too, you know. So what do you think about that?
I think you're right. I think you know, more women are activists, more women are out there, you know, protecting, fighting for human rights than men.
Yeah.
I believe what you're saying, that men need to step up. More men need to step up and join the fight for humanity's freedom.
And what can
I'm one
do?
of them. You know, that's why what can we do is you know, join the fight by bringing awareness.
Yeah.
You know, bringing awareness. You know, do whatever it is that you have to do to empower others through knowledge, through information, because our greatest weapon against the elites and against the reptilians is knowledge.
Yeah.
You know, knowledge is our greatest weapons. Once we have understanding of things, then we begin to act. You know, then we begin to do things differently.
So all of these platforms, like that engage in all this, they're basically reptilians that are like managing all that, or like.
Well, they were up until 2016. The reptilians have been running this world for 5,000 years from behind the scenes through their Illuminati families. But now that the reptilians have been taken out by the Galactic Federation, they're waiting for the White Hats to now expose the Illuminati. You know, the White Hats have been building up all the evidence against them, their crimes against humanity, for the last 4 years. So all that stuff is going to come out. You know, the election fraud.
So that makes sense. You know.
Yeah. You know, so big tech is in on it. Big tech is so evil. You know, it was devised by the reptilians, and it's working with the reptilians. But again, now it's, you know, all that stuff is going to be exposed. So it's coming. Our freedom's coming.
Okay, well, that's good to know. So what are you working on now, and like where can everybody find you?
They can find me mainly on social media, Instagram. I don't use Facebook much or Twitter. I do have those accounts, but my Instagram is Project Restoration Zion. They can just type my name, Ismael Perez, and you should have access to my Instagram under Project Restoration Zion. And I'm always putting out content, you know, information that is uplifting and empowering. And also, if you want to find my book, they can go on Amazon and order a copy of my book called Our Cosmic Origin by Ismael Perez.
Is it also an audiobook?
Not yet,
Okay.
but it's either on paperback or ebook. You can order it on Kindle.
Cool.
Now, this book just reveals the true history of the Earth, you know, how it ties into millions of years of history of civilizations that existed not only here, but it also connects the suppressed history of the Earth with the history of the galaxy, and how there's many worlds out there, and how we're part of an organized universe.
And like the ancient Egypt, like what kind of star seeds were they?
They were sources from Sirius. The star system is Sirius. So if you want to learn about star seeds, you know, the galactic history, the true history of the Earth, I would strongly recommend ordering my book. Lately, you know, it's what I'm up to is just, I'm actually working on my third book. So I'm in the process of writing the third book, Our Cosmic Origin Volume 2, which is going to probably be ready in 2 years.
Okay, cool. And then you gotta do audiobook, because that's how I listen to or read my books, is through listening, you know? When I drive, like I get so many books done that way, you know?
Yeah, I know a lot of people do, so that's probably next in line.
Yeah, all you gotta do is go into the studio and just read the book.